Hello, you two. It is Monday, the 1st of February today. Already, January is over and we're into February. It's gone so quickly. We're doing year two comprehension today. And just like we started doing last week, we're going to go over some tricky words before we think about the text. And we are going to do some practice questions. Okay, so remember, comprehension is all about understanding what we are reading. Okay. So today we are answering, can I answer a range of retrieval questions on a text? Retrieval questions then are where the answer is somewhere within the text and you have got to retrieve it, which means find it and pick it out, okay? Most of your questions today are retrieval questions. Okay. Our text then today is all about the farm. It is on page 18 and it is called On the Farm. And what I would like you to do first is pause the video and have a little talk with your grown up. And I would like you to have a little think, make some predictions about what could be in the text today. What could happen in the text? What sorts of things might we read about if it's about on the farm today? Use your experience of videos or pictures or times when you've been to the farm and see if you can talk about what the text could be about today. Okay, have a little go at that first, then we'll look at some tricky words. Okay, we're on to tricky words then now, you two. Because if we're going to understand what we're reading about first, we need to be able to read all of the words. Some of the words we might come across in the text today might be unfamiliar, might be words that we've not come across before when we've been reading, and some parts of them might be a little bit tricky for us to decode, okay? And that might be because their spelling is a strange spelling and it's just a tricky one that we just need to learn and remember, or it might be that we haven't thought about all of the phonics that we need to read that word yet. Okay, now I've got some words on my board behind me. Now, some of you at home might be able to read all of those words without going over which parts I think might be a little bit tricky. If you can, great. If not, and there's any words on there that you're not sure about, some quite long words today, we're going to go over how we can read them now. And if you would like to, when we're going over them, you can have page 18 in your book and you might like to spot where those words are, okay, in the text today. Right, first word then. First one we've got, and the second one we've got over the other side, both start with A and L. Okay, they both start with A and L, making all. Okay, just like A-L-L, the word, tricky word all, sounds the same, but this time we've just got one L. So we've got all, ways, always. This one we've got the same start. Then we've also got E and A making an alternative sound. Now, I bet lots of us know that E and A in phase 5 phonics makes an E sound. My phonics group, we've had a think already about alternative pronunciations. So we know that can also make an E sound like for head. So this word is all ready. Already. Okay? And the next two words I've got also have something in common. They've both got alternative ways of making the air sound. In the middle here, I've got the trigraph, 3 letters making one sound, and EAR we know as a trigraph making an ear sound. Whereas in this word, it makes an air sound. So this word is wearing, wearing, like wearing a jacket. Okay, for this word then, we've got another trigraph, another 3 letters that go together to make one sound. This time, the letters A-R-E are making the air sound. Okay, what I'm going to do when I read this word is I'm going to break it up because it's quite long. I'm going to look at the first part of the word and then the second part of the word, and then I'm going to read them all together. So we've got air. First of all, care. It might help you to break the word up by splitting it into chunks or parts. So this part is care for fully, carefully. For chattery or grown about what carefully means. Okay, the bottom there, I've got the word juicy. It's got you and I making the oo sound, which is very strange. And again, like we had with one of our words last week, it's got the soft C making the sound. So that word is juicy. And over here, we've got the word doesn't. Us. Doesn't. So O and E isn't making O for toe in this word. It's the word doesn't. And we've also got in this word an apostrophe. And the apostrophe is because the word doesn't is a contraction. What that means is we've taken two words and we've joined them together and shortened them, and we've missed one or more than one letter out. So doesn't is short for does not, isn't it? So the apostrophe is where the O in not would be. Shortened it, contracted it to make doesn't, and the apostrophe is like a little comma in the air. Got a few more tricky words now. This word is very strange and we definitely can't use our phonics to help us work it out because this word is busy. It's the word busy. Busy. This part in the middle doesn't look like it would say busy at all, so that's one we just have to remember. It's the word busy. Okay? Here we've got the word brought. Ought. And brought is a verb and it's a past tense verb. It's the past tense of the word bring. Okay, so you might use bring in the sentence, I bring my water bottle to school. If you change that sentence to past tense, the verb bring would change to brought. I brought my water bottle to school. And lots of times when we make verbs past tense, we add ed on. Okay? But sometimes when the verb is changed to past tense, it changes the word completely. And brought is an example of that. Last ones are our two question words, which I think we might be familiar with. Were ought, where the A makes the O sound, and were I, where the Y makes the I sound. Okay, those are our tricky words for reading then, all except this one. And this one is a tricky word to read, but we might also struggle with what this word means. Okay, and if there's any other words we've come across and you've struggled with what they mean, you can talk to your grown-up about them and we'll have a little look. You could also search for them in the dictionary, which is what we're going to do with this word. This word then is exception. Soft C again, and the same shun that we had for population last week. It's exception. And that word's quite a tricky word. You might not understand what that word means. So remember, we said we can use an online dictionary. So I've used the one, Kids Britannica, when we talked about last week, typing online dictionary kids in. And this one we said was quite a good one. Again, it might give you more than one meaning, and we have to choose the one that we think is the best for the sentence that we're reading. So this says here a case where a rule does not apply. It says we'll make an exception this time. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the sentence that one's in so that we can talk about it. So it's the first sentence which says, farms are really busy and this one is no exception. Now, if the word exception means that the rule does not apply, if it says that it is no exception, that means that the rule does apply. So that sentence means farms are always really busy and this one fits that rule as well. This one is also really busy. Okay, what I would like you to do now then is to have a read. I would like you to have a read of the text, remembering those tricky words that we've talked about, using sound buttons to help you sound out any other unfamiliar words. If there are longer words, you might want to split them up into chunks. Okay, and then if there are any other words you're struggling with, you can find your grown-up and ask your grown-up to help. Okay, so we're going to have a look at page 18 and we're going to read through the text and then come back when you're done and we will have a look at some practice questions using that text. Okay, super. Right, I am going to then put my text under the visualizer now so that you can see. Look. There we go. So our text then is called On the Farm. On the farm. Let's look at some questions about our text for today. Now, this kind of question is very similar to a kind of question you're going to have to answer in your book today. And it is a question type that we haven't had a look at doing before in these books. Okay, it's a different type of retrieval question. So the answers are all there, but instead of writing them down like we are used to doing, we have to do something different this time. This one says put a tick in each row to show which child has which job. So we've got the names of the children in the text that we've read, and we've got which jobs they've been doing on the farm. So there are two things that we could do to help us with this retrieval question. We could look for the name of the person, and remember names are always going to have capital letters, aren't they? So we could look for the name and then read the sentences around that person and see what job they do. Or you could choose to use the keywords about the job and you might then read around the keywords of the jobs to match it to a person. Doesn't matter which way you do it, because you're still going to find the answer. Okay, I think I'm going to look for the job. So the first job says collect eggs. So can you go to your text for me and see if you can find collect eggs? Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to do the same. Remember, we can skim read it, can't we? We can skim read it. So let me get my text back on. There we go. My text back on. I'm going to skim read for collect eggs. Have a little look. I'm not reading the whole text again. I'm just skimming to look for those keywords. Oh, there we go. Collect eggs. Collect eggs is there. Now, I have to go back to the start of the sentence, don't I? So what I do is I go back to the start of the sentence to read that information. Now, the start of this sentence starts with she's, and she's is an example of a pronoun, okay, which means it's in place of the person's name. We use a pronoun when we've already used the person's name. So I can't just go back to the start of that sentence. I'm going to have to go to the sentence before to find the person's name. So this is where the sentence before is after the last full stop. And it says Rachel has got red boots on so that she doesn't get dirty in the mud. She's going to collect eggs. So the answer to the person who collects eggs is Rachel. So then I go along that one and I put a tick in the box for Rachel. Okay, the next one then says milk the cow. So back to my text and I'm going to look for milk the cow. You do the same. You have a look where milk the cow is. Let's see. Right at the start, look, milk the cow. Read all of that sentence and it tells me Andy has already milked. So that's past tense, isn't it, with ed? Andy has already milked the cow. See, that one is Andy. So we find milk the cow and we tick for Andy. Next one then says picking strawberries. Back to the text. Let's see where we've got about strawberries. Let's see where we've got about strawberries and find who was picking them. I think it's somewhere in the middle. There we go. Picking strawberries. Okay, now if we look at the start of that sentence, that's another pronoun because it says he's picking strawberries. So that doesn't give us the answer. Let's go to the sentence before. Josh's hat is orange. He's picking strawberries. So it is Josh picking the strawberries. So hopefully feeding the animals should be Susan because she doesn't have any ticks yet. Let's just have a little check just to make sure. There's Susan's name in the middle. Susan is wearing purple overalls with a green pocket. She is feeding the animals. So we were right. We were right with that one. So a tick for Susan. Okay. So another type of retrieval question. You're going to have one very similar in your book for today. I've got to write an answer for this one then. Let's have a little look what it says. This one says, why isn't Josh picking the smaller strawberries? Why isn't Josh picking the smaller strawberries? You go back to your text. I'm going to go back to my text. Let's see if we can find about the smaller strawberries. Let's see, what does it tell us? We've already found the strawberries, haven't we? Okay. Let's see, have we got the word smaller? Oh, smaller's there then. Let's have a look. There's smaller. Let's read what it says. So, he is only picking big, juicy red ones. The smaller green ones aren't ripe yet. So why is he not picking the smaller green ones? Because they aren't ripe yet. So we can put that into a sentence. And isn't and aren't are also contractions, aren't they? Is not, are not. So remember, when I write in a sentence, I choose bits of the question to help me. So I'm going to start with Josh isn't. Those words are both in the question. Josh isn't picking. Josh isn't picking the, my lovely cursive handwriting starting on the line, the smaller. Oh, just about to fit my R on there. Let's go up the page a little bit. Josh isn't picking the smaller ones because they aren't ripe. They aren't ripe. Full stop at the end. Oh, that full stop's a bit high up, Mrs. McNulty. Put it on the line. There we go. Why isn't Josh picking the smaller strawberries? He isn't picking the smaller ones because they aren't ripe. Put that into a sentence. Let's have a look then. This one says, why has Rachel got boots on? So this time our keyword is Rachel and also boots, isn't it? Because other people might have boots on. We want specifically to know about Rachel's boots. Back to our text. Back to our text. Okay, let's see. Again, Rachel has got red boots on. And then it tells me so that she doesn't get dirty in the mud. So that she doesn't get dirty in the mud. Let's put that into a sentence. Okay. I'm not going to use Rachel, I'm going to use the pronoun she. So she doesn't want to get dirty. All these words will be in the text, so you can make sure you spell the words right. She doesn't want to get dirty in the mud. Okay. So we've finished then our example questions. Let's take a look at your questions. Your questions then. The first one looks the same as the one we practiced, but this one says put a tick in each row to show which child is wearing which piece of clothing. So you've got the names across the top like I did on the board, but you've got what they're wearing down the side for you to retrieve and match. What is Andy going to do next? We've just thought about what Andy's already done. He's milked the cow. What is Andy going to do next? Find that Andy sentence and see. Now, this one isn't a retrieval one, number 3, because this one says, why do you think Josh is putting the strawberries into the bowl carefully? It doesn't tell us that. You've got to think about what you know about strawberries, think about what you know about the word carefully, and have a think why he might be doing it carefully, because it doesn't tell us that information. That's you using your own experiences. What would happen if he didn't put them into the bowl carefully? See if you can do that one in a sentence. Number 4, what is Susan doing? Talked about that already in our tick box question, haven't we? Why are Susan and Andy wearing overalls? So have a little look where it says about overalls. You can write that down. And last one, why has Rachel brought a basket? Why has Rachel brought a basket? We need to look for where it tells us about the basket. Now, there are 6 questions today, which is quite a lot. But if it is you're feeling extra super, you might want to complete those questions and do a challenge. Now, I thought one challenge could be to colour in that picture below, because you would have to show that you've understood it really carefully to know to colour the bits in the right colour. And I've also given you on the board a couple of writing challenges. It says, can you write a diary entry as one of the farmers and write about your busy day? Or can you write a description about what the animals on the farm are doing? Because our text was all about the people, wasn't it? So there's a couple of writing tasks as a challenge if you would like to do some extra bits of learning today. Okay, if you do your challenges, please get them sent over on an email to us, and also get your grown-up to send us your answers so we can see how well you answered those questions today. Okay, well done. Do a super job, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye.